I want to get this thing started off by just telling my story. When I was in high school, you normally saw military people as either the ones that had the option of either go to jail or join the military, and so that's how I felt it was like. It was something that you did to stay out of trouble. Now, fast forward all the way into 2005. There, I got to a point where I was starting to get in trouble. I was starting to do some crazy things, some shit that probably ended up killing me or end up in jail. So ironically, that's when I had to make my decision. And, I ran into a buddy of mine and was telling him that I was thinking about going back to school, trying to get my teaching degree and hopefully coach. And my buddy's like, why don't you just join the National Guard and let the Guard pay for it then? I was like, yeah, I could do that. But at the time, obviously, physically, I was not able to. So, that was at the beginning of the year in '06. And fast forward, many months later, and losing 60 so pounds, was able to join the military in June of 2006. So with that being said, you realize now, if you do the math, being that it's 25, I got one more year to reach my 20. So proudly say that I'm still finishing up my last year. I want to, begin this podcast to talk to so many people that have been in the military and then retired from the military, and even bring on people that are still in just to shoot the shit about it. So, of course, I joined in '06, split train. So I didn't go to basic and AIT until the beginning of '07. Came back that June of '07. Was going to try to get into school that August, but I was cutting it close. Didn't look like I was going to be able to get everything finalized to do so. And with that, end up working out with my buddy that was the recruiter that got me in, was needing help in the recruiting department. And with that, it was a program where I was able to go to high schools in our local area and speak to high school kids about the military. So I felt like I was already getting into teaching, sort of sense, and did that for a while. After that, had a chance to get on the special events team. What that was is, instead of doing more classroom settings, teaching settings, it was more of events. So we had a rock wall and an obstacle course that we would set up. And, we'd have these areas set up at local high school events, even some college events, to attract, interested people that would, obviously do the fun stuff that we had set up, but then, give us a chance to talk to them, see how they felt leaning towards military. So it was a new, really good technique of, reaching out to younger kids to see if they are interested in the military. I did that all the way up until we had that massive ice storm that hit pretty much the whole state of Kentucky back in 2009. As that happened, funding was cut for our special events team, so we pretty much all got canned. We didn't see it coming, but we should have saw it coming. There's just so many of us was, at that time still young in our careers, didn't know how financially that stuff worked. But, we figured it out real fast that you gotta pay for certain areas by taking away certain areas. And that's how this came about. But ended up working the ice storm for that. And then, that summer of '09, got the call that we were going to deploy. So with that, I was able to come on orders, be in supply, get everything ready for the deployment. Another reason why I came on orders is because we were getting a new supply sergeant, and he was off reclassing and doing everything he needed to do. So I came on to help out, get everything ready. So hopefully when he came on, he felt like he had a smooth, transition. Um, it was obviously a little rough when he did come on, but we were able to smooth things out by the time, we were getting ready to pre-mob and mob. And after that, had a great relationship with him being the supply sergeant and I was a supply specialist. Pretty much his armor is what I was doing. I took care of all the weapons. Um, but yeah, we deployed uh, beginning of 2010, went to Iraq, did our mission there. Um, Pretty much our mission was help close down Q West, which was Saddam Hussein's one of his Air Force posts there. We end up shutting it down, got done with that mission really fast, and technically back by June of 2010, ironically on Father's Day. Um, while I was on my way back, I applied for a position at a FMS shop, maintenance shop. I was able to get that position, so I started doing that in August of 2010. Um, did it all the way up till December of 2018, when I had a chance to go on orders as an instructor at Camp Dodge, Iowa. So I went up in 2018 and did that roughly 18, 19, 20, 21. Came back in October of 2021, went back to my FMS shop because it was a position that they, held for me until I came back. Not long after I came back, I got the phone call that following spring, opportunity to become a instructor back at Camp Dodge. Now, when you're a federal technician uh, with the National Guard, Title 32 technician, you are a dual status. What that means is that you have to be in the military to have that position. It's a civilian position, but it's not. It's a dual status. And so for me to have that job means I would always have to stay in the military. And I've always looked into the fact that when I reached my 20, I wanted to get out. But the contracting position allows me to then, when I do reach my 20, is get out and I won't lose my contract. And so it was a way to get my foot in the door, hoping that it would lead to a better, and maybe not better, but a closer position back home. So with me being in Kentucky, my family was still in Kentucky while I was in Iowa. So I wanted to get my foot in the door and hopefully get back to Kentucky. And it paid off. I was able to get recognized for my background and got contacted by a company that wanted me to become a contractor at Fort Campbell, which is literally down the street from where I live. And so I was like, heck yeah, that's a no brainer. So after being there, back at Camp Dodge for a while, I was able to, so with that, because I was, still National Guard, I had to, when I moved to Iowa as a contractor, I moved my status from a Kentucky guardsman to Iowa guardsman. And so for the first time in my career, I was no longer with my transportation company or the Kentucky National Guard. I was now with Iowa. I did get on at the battalion level at Iowa, uh, working in the area of operations. And being that I had that background for the longest time, it was a blessing to come on with them. So much stuff that I got to help out with that they were very scarce on knowing, I guess. Since they was before me, the position I was taking, I was stepping right in and going right to work. Was able to do that, and then we had some family issues starting to happen back home, and I really needed to get back home if I could. And then the blessing of getting that offer to the Fort Campbell to be a contractor allowed me to come back to Kentucky. But with that, I had to make the decision on my National Guard side. Do I come back to Kentucky, back to my company, help out, hopefully do the things I was doing before, but then quote unquote have to play soldier, you know? And I'm not gonna lie when I say I'm done with that part, playing soldier. I've done my time now, even though it's not over. So it's when I say I'm done with my time, I mean it in a way that I'm done taking a spot away from someone that really wants to progress in their career. I'm pretty much maxed out. But for me to go back means I would hold a position from someone that needed or wants to better themselves into that position to where they can even progress more in their career. But I had the chance to go back as an instructor at Camp Dodge and, able to finish out my career as an instructor there. And it's a position where I don't have to worry about, there's not going to be somebody that's, a step below in my position to work their way up. That's not how it works. You have to be that a specific MOS and rank to have that position, and you can't you can't really progress. And that's perfectly fine. I want to finish out my career pretty much how I started it, and that's teaching. Everything that I've done and learned throughout the years, that's what I want to do. Ironically, I was able to join because I wanted to be a teacher, and now I'm ending it as a teacher. And for me, that's perfect. That's how I want to end my career. So yep, I got 1 year left. So with that, I wanted to go ahead and get into this whole podcast business. And what I want is to, like the title says, anything, everything military. So when I do that, I don't want to talk about topics of the day or what's going on with the military. Now, in that discussion that I'm having with somebody, if we start to, compare and say what we went through younger and what's going on now, that's different. I'm not, my mind's not going to be bringing on somebody to talk about the topics of the military, the topics of politics, any of that stuff. What I want to do is learn about their career. Why did they join? Why did they stay as long as they did, whether it's short or long term? If they're out, what they're doing now. Is it a position that they've started themselves with a business, or is it something that they've, you know, always did before, especially if they're National Guard? A lot of them are part-time, so they still already have their career, but I want them to be able to talk about their previous career slash military career now and what they do on the side, if it's something completely different. And if it's something that's of their business, I'm definitely going to promote them because they're prior military. And I'm hoping that it's a position where I can, proudly promote what they do and not only promote it while they're having their interview, but make promotion clips for them for my future podcast. How would you like to move your money, position your money so you'll never have to worry about your financial future? What about creating tax shelters to actually protect your profits? Let me keep it simple. How would you like to just accelerate your cash flow? There's only one simple solution to that: Next Gen Legacy Group. Justin Melendez with the Next Gen Legacy Group is a 16-year Army veteran with years of experience applying strategy, movement, positioning to your everyday money habits. Justin is dedicated to transforming the way you structure and grow your wealth with alternative investment strategies. A financial architect, ensuring protection and growth without incurring additional cost. It empowers you with unparalleled control and flexibility over your money. What are you waiting for? Contact Justin today. 270-704-6244. That's 270-704-6244. Or email Justin, Justyn, at nextgenlegacygroup.co. Your money is losing money right now. Call today. I've got a list of names. I've already got a good list of names here. I've only contacted a handful, and so far that handful has said yes, they want to be on. So I'm super excited about the guest. I'm going to go ahead and just give a little preview of the guest that I am bringing on. One of my guests is going to be actually the recruiter that got me in. And we actually met when he was in college and I was at high school still, because I was actually dating a girl that was in college. And so that's how we met, and how it, helped out for me to join the military and then obviously start my career. So I'm going to bring him on because I want to let him tell his story of why he joined, and then the impact that he had because of him joining alone on the amount of people that have joined. I'm not going to say because of him, but because of him. So, because I definitely would not have joined if it wasn't for him. So that's 100% truth right there. So he's going to be one of my guests. I'm going to have a former battle of mine, let him talk about his career, and then and what he's doing now, because he cut his short, and rightfully so, because he's got a passion for helping people in another way, and that way is in the financial world. And so I want to bring him on to tell his story now of how he's still helping people, just in a different format, financially. One of my special guests I'm going to bring on will be my actual cousin. I want to say 23 years in the Air Force that she did. And so I'm going to let her come on and tell her story of how she came about her career. Definitely a career that, remembering seeing some of her posts, especially more here recently with her being retired, of, how her career could have went totally different than the way it did. But man, I'm going to tell you right now, she rocked it and she nailed it. And so her business now that she does in the St. Louis area is a Get Lit sign company. Awesome idea. And from watching all the events that she does, it's blowing up fast for her, and proud to see that's taken off really well. And so I'm going to bring her on to, tell about her career and what she does now. I'm going to have one guest that's going to be a little controversial. And the reason I say that is because of his military career wasn't so great. And so because of that, for the longest time, I had a bad taste in my mouth when I saw what he's wanting to do. And he would use this short military career as a selling tool. Was not a fan of it for so long. But then I'm going to say that if anything, probably matured myself. When he was young. And, with that, not everybody's the same, especially when they're young. I look back now and I think to myself, God, if I would have joined when he did, I would have probably been 10 times worse than what he was. So the man joined, had a short career, got out, then down the road decided he's going to run for a city commission. And he would actually use some of his military pictures, some of his list of accomplishments, which was technically nothing if you've only been in for so long. I'm not saying that's the reason why he didn't have any, but he just didn't. But so I was anti all of it for this longest time. Well, then he got it. He's now on the city commission. And when I started thinking about doing this podcast and having an open mind about all of this and who I speak to, and because so many of these people I'm going to bring on, I clash so bad with, but I don't want that to be the reason why we can't talk. He was young, but in his heart, he still wanted to serve the community. And I didn't see that. I was stubborn in my ways of thinking that, he just wanted to be this, be that, whatever the case may be. But that's not the case. The man, that I see wants to serve the community. He tried at a young age when it comes to the military. That's like one of the first and foremost things you can join or do right out of high school when it comes to serving is, join the military. He tried it. It didn't work, but it didn't stop him from wanting to still serve his community, just in a different way. And I see that now. And I look back now and it's like, I was myself a complete idiot that, I didn't support someone that at least tried. He at least tried the military. So many won't even try. They'll talk shit and not even try. He can talk shit all he wants because he at least tried it. That's all I got to say. He at least tried. But he found something that was a passion for him to continue to serve the community. I respect him enough to where what he's wanting to do, what he's always wanted to do. He just needed to find that thing that he could do. And I think he found it. So I'm definitely going to bring him on. I'm think that's probably the one I'm more excited about, because I feel like I want to start off that episode alone with just an apology to get that off my chest. Because at his age, I could tell you he's acting way more mature than I was about it. And so I respect that, and I definitely want to bring him on. So when I was in Iowa, I had a chance to go on this fishing trip for a day. And the way it works is there's someone that in the community that, that has a boat and some rods. They'll take on one or two veterans and take them catfishing for a day. And so we did. And So we're on this boat, and I see a 82nd Airborne sticker on it. And, me and my buddy Justin, he made a comment about it, wondering if he served. He's like, no. He said, but the guy I bought it from served. And I was like, oh, okay. I was like, well, where'd you get it from? Or he said, I got the boat from a guy down in Paducah, Kentucky. Fuck, that's where I live, where I'm from. I was like, no way. So, yeah, he told me the guy that he, got it from. And when he did, I looked up and saw him on Facebook, and I was like, I know of him somehow, but either way, I added him on Facebook and told him the story about how I'm from Paducah. I'm up here in just outside of Des Moines, Iowa, on a lake on a boat that used to be yours. And but yeah, he's former 82nd Airborne. And but now he's the owner and operator on Hooked on Cats. So I'm going to bring him on. He has a YouTube channel and videos on all the stuff that he does. So, but he's former military, and I'm going to bring him on. A couple more that I've got coming on. These two are two guys that I actually met at Basic and AIT, and so I'm going to bring them on, and we're just going to shoot the shit on that episode because I haven't seen either one of them since. I still talk to them, everything we've gone through and where we're at these days. But I've got many here that I'm excited to bring out to have these interviews with and get them on here to discuss their careers and what they're doing next. These are all people that I know, and I've got a whole list of them. And there could be way more. A lot of them are still in, so I'm sure I'll have episodes where I'll let them, phone in, and we'll have a conversation too. Just shoot the shit. But I plan on having episodes where, you guys can send emails with topics or stories. Now, I don't want it to be something that's going on right now, but I am going to have episodes about Bitch Fest. What that's going to be is stuff that I went throughout the years. That's not individually complaining about, oh, this was bad. Not so much that, but just in a comical way of seeing some shit that's gone down. I think the prime story that I will talk about that we can all laugh about was that fucking year that we had to wear our PT belt, over our ACUs. We had to wear the damn PT belt, across your chest diagonal. And we looked like fucking idiots. And you could just tell when people looked at us that they were thinking the same thing. And I had one guy said, "What the fuck is this? That's not how you wear your uniform." And I'm like, you ain't gonna tell me. So whatever the case may be, I remember that shit. But there, just a lot of little petty stuff like that I want to joke about and bring up on stupidity when it comes to the Army. That we deal with. Nothing in to be distasteful or anything like that, but I want to hear your stories and takes on a lot of this. And so I'll bring up certain topics and give a chance for some of y'all to tell y'all stories, and I'll read them. And then from there, hopefully just, over time, for you guys listening in and watching these podcasts, might have some of you on as a guest to just talk about what you guys do. And I won't know you from Adam. So I would love to bring you on and be able to do that. So that's the idea for this podcast. This is what I want to do with this. I don't want it to be those type of podcasts that's like a damn movie. And what I mean is, I look on podcasts everywhere, and it's all the super soldiers telling their stories. They only make up literally probably 3% of the Army, maybe 5%. Those super soldiers like that. This is more for the everyday military personnel and the jobs that they do that affects even the super soldier's job. And so those are the kind of I want to have on and just shoot the shit with. So looking forward to it. Hope you guys are too. And we will just see you next time on DP Podcast.